The Seattle area continues to be a hotbed for people relocating out of their current state looking for a new home. Now, there's one subset of people that I consistently see move here very often, and those are folks from the Bay Area. So now, after helping people relocate here to the Seattle area over the last half decade, I'd say about 50% of the folks that I help relocate over here are actually coming from the Bay Area. The other 50% spread throughout the entire US. So what I want to talk about today is why there's such a heavy percentage of people that are coming from the Bay Area here to Seattle and what's attracting them to make that move. After helping so many of you and speaking with you about why this move has been important, I've got 5 main reasons of why people choose to go this route. All right, so the number one reason why people are moving from the Bay Area to Seattle is for affordability. Now, that might seem a little ridiculous to say that people are moving to the Seattle area for affordability, but when you compare it to the Bay Area, that is certainly the case. Let's look at the median home prices in these two areas. In San Francisco, the median home price currently is just over $1.2 million. Here in Seattle, the median home price currently is $971,000. So you've got over $250,000 in difference in those median home prices. So those people that are coming over here to Seattle realize they can get a lot more bang for their buck. On top of that, a big difference is the state income tax. For those living in California, you could be paying up to 13% annually in that state income tax. Here in Washington, in the Seattle area, we do not have state income tax. So when you combine the lower home prices and the lack of any state income tax here, people often find that their money goes much further here in Seattle than it will in California. Now, reason number 2 that really makes people be able to make this decision is how strong of a job market we have here in Seattle and how similar it can be to San Francisco. So it's not like people are leaving San Francisco and having to come take a job in Seattle where they're earning much less. It is often a very comparable move in terms of the job that they'd be receiving up here and that salary. As we all know, San Francisco is obviously probably the #1 tech hub in the US, but Seattle is not far behind at all. Seattle is a major tech player at this point. In fact, the 3 biggest tech hubs in the US, according to a recent study, are San Francisco, New York, and Seattle coming in at number 3. We have all of the major tech players here like Amazon and Microsoft and TikTok and Apple and Meta and Google. Just every tech player that you can think of is here in the Seattle area. Those are just the big tech companies. We have a lot of smaller tech as well. On top of that, we have a lot of new AI companies also relocating here to the Seattle area. Now, it's also not just tech. We have great industries in healthcare, maritime, finance, and education. So there's a wide array of great job opportunities, some of the best job opportunities in the entire country right here in Seattle. All right, reason number 3 why people are moving here, believe it or not, is the weather. Again, you might think being located so far north that the weather would not be an attraction here in Seattle, so you're probably surprised to hear that it actually is, especially for those that may be coming from the Bay Area. Overall in Seattle, you're gonna get more variation in that weather. You're gonna truly get 4 seasons here. When you're in the Bay Area, you're not gonna get a huge change in that weather. It stays relatively consistent through the year. Sure, it's a little bit colder in the winter months than the summer months, but you don't have a big change in those seasons through the year. Here in Seattle, you will. If we look at the summer months, people typically prefer Seattle in the Pacific Northwest in the summer far more than they do in the Bay Area. Those average temps in the Bay Area in the hottest months are in the upper 60s. That's not that warm and honestly can probably feel a bit chilly at times. The average temps in the Seattle summer months are in the mid to upper 70s, so you certainly get much warmer temperatures, but you also still don't have those extreme temps that you see in other places in the US where you're consistently in the 90s or the triple digits. Now, in the colder months in the winter time, of course, it will be colder here in Seattle, but some people prefer that to have a little bit more change through the year, and like I said, more of all 4 of those seasons. Now, it's also not brutal to deal with here in Seattle in the winter months. We don't get very much snow. We average about 5 inches of snow a year, so outside of maybe 2 or 3 days a year, the snow is not going to affect you, but you'll get a little bit and be able to experience it. People will often say that the rain is a huge problem here in Seattle, and yes, you'll definitely get more rain here in Seattle than you will in San Francisco. The average rainfall we get here on an annual basis is about 38 to 39 inches a year, which is right at the US average. So the amount of rain that we get is a little bit overhyped. We're pretty average. What we will get more of here in Seattle versus San Francisco, the one downside is we will get less sunshine and more overcast and cloudy days. So that is certainly something to be aware of. But overall, people find the summers in Seattle much more enjoyable, and through the year, they get to experience different weather. All right, reason number 4 is better access to outdoor recreation here in Seattle. It's no shock here to know that the Pacific Northwest is probably the best location in the US that you can live for outdoor recreation. Especially here in Seattle, we have access to so many different opportunities. We live right here on the Puget Sound, so if you want to enjoy one of the beaches right on the Puget Sound, take out a kayak or a paddleboard, or take out a boat and go crabbing or fishing, or jump on a ferry and take a day trip to one of the local islands, there's so much you can do to enjoy the Puget Sound right here in the Seattle area. As we move further inland, we have lakes all over the place. So if you want to go wakeboarding or water skiing, or take your kids to the lake to go swimming in one of the local swimming areas, take out a jet ski, or again, a kayak, a paddleboard, or a canoe, you have so many opportunities for lakes. Whether you're right in Seattle proper or in one of the other outlying suburbs in the metropolitan area, there are lakes all over the place. Outside of just water recreation, this is one of the best locations for hiking and biking and all of the mountainside type activities. Now we have the Cascade Mountain Range, we also have Mount Rainier, we also have the Olympic Mountains, all within a relatively easy drive here from Seattle. So if you want to enjoy snowboarding and skiing, snowshoeing, just taking advantage of those wintertime mountain activities, you certainly can. Additionally, if you want to go mountain biking or hiking, you obviously have a ton of opportunity for that. Now you don't have to travel to one of these mountain ranges, the Olympics, the Cascades, or down to Mount Rainier just to enjoy that. Right in your local community, there will be a lot of wooded trails right nearby to where you live, where you could maybe just walk right to the trail from your front door, or maybe take a quick 5 to 10 to 15 minute drive to some local trails. There are an endless amount of hiking opportunities here in the Seattle metropolitan area, which is a huge draw for people. Overall, you're just going to get better outdoor recreation here in the Pacific Northwest than you're going to find in the Bay Area. All right, the last reason number 5 that people tell me why they end up moving here is better access to a slower paced lifestyle. Now, of course, both Seattle and San Francisco are going to be relatively fast paced, but what people often see and find out here and tell me as they're exploring this area is they feel like they can live in a suburb that's closer to Seattle than maybe they would find in the San Francisco area, a suburb just outside of Seattle that provides a much slower paced lifestyle, but they can still get into the city for work. They're often looking for more space, a bigger lot size when they're purchasing a home, a yard for their kids, and they feel like this might be easier to find here in the Seattle area as opposed to San Francisco. There are a lot of suburbs outside of Seattle proper that will give you a very different feel and very different lifestyle, so you can really look around and see what fits for you best. You're not limited to just one type of thing, one type of city, one type of option. When it comes to the type of neighborhood and suburb you're in, you're gonna have a variety of options, and people really seem to like that here in Seattle. All right, well, that wraps it up. These are really the top 5 reasons, like I said, why people end up moving here to Seattle from the Bay Area, as told by my personal clients that I've helped relocate over here. Now, if you're somebody that's looking to make the move, whether you're from the Bay Area or moving over here from anywhere else in the US, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you with your move. I specialize in helping people relocate here, figuring out where the right place is for you to move and finding that right home for you to purchase. So if that sounds like you, feel free to reach out to me at my info in the description. Would be more than happy to chat with you and help you with that move. Thanks for watching this one.